Okay, folks, welcome to today's webcast here. Today's Thursday. Today's not Thursday. Today is Tuesday, March 19th, and I am Ryan Girardi. As you can see, we have lined up today a session around video marketing for auto retail in the F&I department. And I have Julie Yatchuk from ProSource Finance coming on in just a moment to get things started with us. And she's going to share some cool ideas and tips and whatnot that can apply not just at your dealership, but in your retail center specific to your F&I department. Now, this is part of our video marketing for auto retail webcast series, which we do about once a month, brought to you by Flick Fusion. Last month, we had Flick Fusion COO Tim James on, had a conversation around data scalability, hosting, personalization, and whatnot. Even got into the idea of AI-driven video creation. So pretty neat stuff. And that you can find the podcast, the conversation on the AutoConverse podcast. So search for AutoConverse in your preferred podcast app, and you will find that. It's called Going Beyond Video Content, AI-driven video creation. Now, you could be watching live. You could be watching the recording of this on our YouTube channel or listening to this on the podcast sometime later. If you want to be part of this series, go up to autoconversion.net, look over to the webcast menu, and you will see video marketing for auto retail. Look in there, get yourself registered, and that'll give you automatic invites to this series each month as we every time that we schedule one. And if we don't do them live, you'll still be invited as well. So head over to that page. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. What I'd like to do now is bring Julie on. So Julie, I'm going to ask to start your video here. There we go. And turn off my screen share. So welcome. Great to have you up here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And now Julie and I have a bit of a history. She spent several years working at Flick Fusion, which is a video marketing platform that I've been using personally now for a little over a year. One of the most robust platforms that are out there, and Julie knows that platform inside and out. So when I was explaining to her that we're always looking for just great ideas and best practices, not just around Flick's platform, but with video in general in auto retail. And we got talking about what she does at ProSource. I thought, hey, this would be great to have you up here to share that. So she's obliged, and here we are. We're going to keep this to about a 20-minute broadcast, so it'll move pretty quickly. And again, it is recorded. So Julie, what I'd like to do is start off with you giving us an idea of who ProSource is, ProSource Finance. Tell us about the company and what ProSource does.
Okay. Again, thank you very much for having me on, Ryan. So what ProSource is we are a company that is an extension of a dealership's finance department. Or if they don't have a finance department, we become their finance department. We specialize in automotive, RV, motorsports, heavy-duty truck equipment, marine, and avionics financing. We're able to finance any of those types of products. And so we work with the dealer. Right now we're using our new product called ProSource Verify, where we do a soft pull and then let the dealer know whether or not to go ahead with the consumer or with the customer that they're with without spending a lot of time and then finding out at the end of filling out the credit app and all of that, that they're not going to be qualified to purchase a vehicle or a piece of equipment. So that's kind of what we're doing.
Could you clarify something for me? You used the phrase, we are the F&I department for these retailers. Mm-hmm. Can you be specific? Are you bridging the lending? You're not providing the lending. Are you securing the lending? And what other functions or roles would ProSource play within the dealership?
So what we do is that we work with lenders throughout the country to fund the loans. So they actually fund us and then we fund the dealer. We do, so that's indirect lending. We do some direct lending where basically we're working with a dealership who already has a bank that maybe they're set up with. But since we do their compliance paperwork, that's a really big piece of it, is that we prepare all of the compliance paperwork, send it back to the dealer. So all they have to do is print it and get the customer's signatures on it. And then it's done. So we are basically finding the funding, doing the compliance, sending that stuff back to the dealer so they don't have to do that. And then we also, when we're talking to the consumers, we can also sell the ancillary products such as your VSC and GAP to them as kind of like an upsell.
So does ProSource actually interface with the consumer on
Yes.
behalf of the dealer?
Yes. On behalf of the dealer, we will call the customer, let them know that they've been approved at, XYZ interest rate for how many months, and here's your monthly payment. At that point, that's when we also try to upsell them with the VSC and the GAP and other products.
Okay, and then before we get into some of the specific kind of best practices, maybe tell us what you are doing at ProSource. You've been there a few months. You have a larger role there. So what's your title and what's your role and scope of responsibility there?
So here at ProSource, I am the Director of Administrative Operations. And so right now I kind of have my hands in everything from the marketing aspect of things, and that's where the video comes into play, to, finding our benefit people and who we're going to work with there. I'm in sales and how we interact with the agents and what new products are going to come up and price those out. I'm in customer service because I'm training a new customer service department, getting them prepared, all the documentation that needs to be done, all the manuals and things that need to be created. I'm doing that as well. So got my hands in a little bit of everything here.
Yeah, typical small business environment. You
Yep.
got to wear a few different hats. All right, great. Now, there's a reason ProSource brought you on. They saw some talent. They saw some, your great personality. So, bringing you on as a talent acquisition, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
what were some of the, I guess, goals, expectations of bringing Julie on to ProSource?
So is to get them out there. Right now, we're pretty centralized in Iowa. And so to be able to broaden our branding and get that out there, to do the documentation, because it was pretty next to none with documentation here. And so being able to document those processes and procedures, so when we, as we grow, it's all scalable and it makes it easier to train and have that growth.
Sure. How are you going to document? Are you going to document through like Word docs or video documentation or a little of both?
We are going to do a combination of both, because video training is a lot easier. It's a lot more scalable, because then you're not taking somebody and taking 2-3 hours out of their day to train somebody. They can train at their own pace. So we will have actual a written document per se, an SOP book, but then there's going to be a library of training videos.
Good stuff. That's what I do. I make how-to videos. I use a tool called Loom. Make a little how-to video, title it, and then you have some written stuff that goes along with it. Well, great. So I'd love to hear, what are some of your kind of key ideas that you plan or have started on incorporating into ProSource as it pertains to the use of video?
So the first thing is video emails. We're starting to do those. Especially with salespeople, sometimes it takes them a little bit to get used to the idea of being on video all the time. So we're slowly integrating that. But video emails is a great way to, get people to open your emails. Everybody wants, they love personalized videos of themselves and stuff, and a personalized video where you're talking to them versus just a generic form letter that everybody gets, that everybody just kind of throws away. So being able to personalize a video email and talk to the consumer, talk to the dealer, talk to other salespeople is the first thing and the easiest thing that we're implementing through Flix VidMail.
So since ProSource will interface with the consumer, then does that mean that ProSource staff would record videos for a customer on behalf of the dealer?
Possibly. That would, telling them congratulations. I see it even when we need stuff from the consumer. is doing a quick video email saying, hey, Mr. John Doe, just wanted to let you know where I'm working on your app, but I need, you know, two forms of, confirmation of your residence, or I need, pay stubs or something like that. Because the thing with finance is that consumers don't really understand what we do. They know that they have to go there and they spend a lot of time in their office. So this way, if we can break down some of these walls and let them know, hey, we're just regular people, with these video emails, your personality is going to come through. I mean, maybe not for the first few because you're like, oh my gosh, but your personality is going to come through, and just kind of break those walls down of, hey, we're not so bad. You can talk to us, and we're here to help you get a better, interest rate, better terms, things like that. So we're not working against you. We're working with the consumer to try and help them out.
Is the experience that a consumer has with an auto dealer for a car drastically different from what the consumer customer is going to have, let's say, with heavy duty equipment purchase?
Yeah, because usually with the heavy duty equipment, it's not as, I mean, most companies know, hey, I need a skid loader, or I need the, XYZ piece of equipment. So, they're not going in looking like, okay, well, I've got all these different brands and manufacturers. So they know basically what they're looking for. Um, you know, we know that usually they're buying one, or sometimes with the fleet trucks, they're buying, 10 semi trucks. So it's a lot easier. There's probably not as much pressure that you get, I would say, when you're a consumer at a dealership.
Just trying to visualize here. If I'm a consumer buying a car, typically the way it works is you kind of work out the deal, right? The deal with the sales, with the manager,
Right.
what you're going to pay, what your payments are going to be. And then you go into the back room or with the F&I guy and work out the fine details on all the upsells.
Mm-hmm.
So at what point do you need like video email? Is it if the transaction didn't get finalized and the customer has to leave? Is it after the deal's been made, or are you involved? Do you see video being involved sometimes leading up to the deal?
I see. So currently, a lot of ours are your smaller independent dealers, and so a lot of them are used to people coming in, filling out an app, and then leaving and coming back. It's not like the larger franchise when once you go in, you expect to complete everything and walk off the lot with your car. So definitely, during that process of trying to get the app completed and filled out before we can get it to the bank, is utilizing emails there. As far as like the larger franchises, I definitely see, possible follow up after the deal's done. Hey, we know that you've had your car for this long. Is there anything else? Because VSC you can sell 3 days after they've gone off the lot. So it might be a perfect opportunity if they didn't purchase it then, is to do a video email back to them and saying, hey, just to let you know, you've got, 2 more days left before, so you can purchase a VSC contract with us to protect yourself after the fact. So I see that.
So with the Flick Fusion system to do a video email, you can do it on your phone
Mm-hmm.
and then just put the person's email and send it right to that person. That's
Correct.
one way.
Right.
And then I think another way is you could pre-record maybe a generic video, like a bio. I think
Correct.
you talked about the idea of bios. So you're going to really encourage F&I personnel to do like a video bio.
Correct. Yeah, because again, breaking down those walls, and because everybody, you spend time with the salesperson, so you kind of get to know them and how they are, but then all of a sudden you're kind of shoved off to a finance person, and all of a sudden they whip out their tablet, they've got the paper, and they're like, okay, let's go through all this legal stuff. And so it's not a very warm experience. I don't believe, at least in my experience, it's never been really warm. Like I like, hey, I really, this guy's got a dog that I like, we've got something in common. He likes to go fishing. Um, you know, a little small talk happens, but I definitely think a video bio of your finance people that people can come and see beforehand would definitely help.
That seems uncommon, not unprecedented, but it seems
Right.
uncommon. But we are in what, 2019, and we're finally getting sales personnel on like cars.com through dealer page. It was typically a picture,
Yep.
right, with a person's name and title, and you'd either have nothing up there or you'd have like the whole, everybody, which
Yeah.
was good. But I like the idea of seeing an F&I manager, if you will. Hi, I'm Ryan, and this is what I do, and here's how we're going to be friends.
Yeah.
So ProSource is going to really just work with its dealers on setting up those, kind of coaching them through setting up these bios and getting them up to their website,
Correct.
and make them part of the library as well.
Yes. Correct.
Okay. Very cool. Now, how about video chat? I know that the Flick Fusion platform has a capability to use video chat. Do you see leveraging that through what you're talking about?
I definitely do, because it's amazing how many times we get apps in and things where they're not completely filled out, or they've not done something, they have questions with something. And so being able to quickly chat with somebody about those questions, I think is going to be very useful. Flick Fusion has the ability to have a one-way or two-way chat. Right now, consumers don't want to be seen, but they don't mind seeing us. And so I definitely see where we would have that ability to have it on our website, where if they have a question, they can click that button, get us on on a video chat, and we can walk them through any questions they have. Same way with the dealers. It's an easy way to quickly communicate. And if they need to show us something visually, they can switch that camera around and show us, and we can provide those answers.
Okay. So, like I said, we want to keep this to around 20 minutes. So we've kind of reached that point. Are there any other ideas or tactics that you have in mind that you're planning to pursue as well?
Yep. So we definitely plan to do video tutorials and encourage our dealers to also do marketing via video. So with the tutorials, it's definitely going to help the dealer be able to quickly go through our back end and how to utilize that. We're going to do tutorials on best practices for video, because lighting does play a part in it. You don't want to be a dark head in some room and stuff like that. So some best practices there, best practices with getting people to utilize or purchase those ancillary products such as VSC and Gap, and why they should do that. Again, also encouraging our dealers to do that with the app that Flick Fusion has. It's very inexpensive for a whole sales team, or just a single salesperson within a dealership. If the dealership itself doesn't want to do it, they can do it and utilize those videos to market to their the end consumer and the lead base.
Okay. So I am curious, as you have begun sharing these ideas, if you will, with your dealership clients, what kind of response are you getting?
So they're definitely interested in the idea. Getting them to I guess put themselves behind the camera, or on camera, is a little bit different, because a lot of them have just spent so many years just doing it face to face. And so it's something new, it's something that they're not comfortable with. They like the idea, they can see the value in it and the ability to reach a lot more people without spending a lot of time doing marketing pieces over and over, because they can just reutilize a video. So we've gotten some good feedback on the idea and the concept of it. So now it's just getting them more comfortable with getting themselves on video.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, video's not for everybody, definitely not for everybody. And if someone just doesn't want to be on camera, there's not much you can do.
Right.
You do have to train your brain to function on camera. You seem like you've got plenty of experience being on camera, probably from your 7+ years working at Flick Fusion.
Right.
So yeah, it's quite a learning gap or curve that has to occur. But I'm with you. Anyone who knows me, I make custom videos all the time. One suggestion I'll throw out there, if I have a message for a group of people, instead of, producing instead of making like a generic video, I'll say something like, "Hi, Julie. No, I'm sorry. I won't say your name. I would say, "Hi, this is Ryan. Today is Tuesday, March 19th. I'm sending this to you and a few other people."
Mm-hmm.
Right? It could be going to 5 people. It could be going to 50 people, but at least it's relevant to the moment right now that it's only to you and a few people.
Right.
Um,
Yeah. And I totally see being able to, especially people that aren't used to being on camera, is you can still utilize video. We're going to have a library of content that you can pick from, and then you can just do a voiceover over as an intro. Hey, take a look at these videos here. I think it's going to help you with XYZ, or, so then we're kind of slowly getting in, getting them used to video and stuff like that. So.
Well, good. I love it. And Julie, thanks so much for coming up and sharing all this with us.
Thank you so much for having me. I had fun.
And if you want to talk with Julie or talk with her at ProSource, then just look her up. You spell your last name is right there for everyone to see. YAT. Can you say it properly for us?
It's Jacek.
Jacek. Okay, and that's Polish, right?
Yes.
Okay, I think you told me that. I remember that. So.
Yep.
All right. Well, very good. So I'm going to go ahead and shut your camera off, and I'll just do a quick orientation and just hang tight, and I'll be right back.
All right. Thanks.
Okay, folks, so there you go. What I'm going to do is just a reorientation here. This is part of the Video Marketing for Auto Retail recurring web series. You can find this on autoconversion.net under the retail section. And as you see, we stream this live and feature it on the podcast, but we don't do everything live. Sometimes you have to sign up to be a part of this. So take a moment, if you like what you see here, to register with the series, and that'll send you a few different emails letting you know all the information on this page. So for instance, you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, press on that bell icon, and that way when we schedule an event or release a new video like we did today, you'll have access to that. You'll be notified right away about that. There's also a recurring Facebook event. So go on up to the Facebook event and mark yourself as interested. And that way when we announce the show, you will know about it right away. And finally, you can watch all of these retail webcasts on our website. Just look under Watch and look for Auto Retail Webcasts. And look, we got all those nice little buttons there showing you the things that I just mentioned. And we have a discussion board on there. So go ahead and say hello, ask some questions, let us know any ideas or feedback that you have. Now, as I mentioned, last month we had Tim James on. We released the podcast, Going Beyond Video Content, AI-Driven Video Creation. So look that up on the AutoConverse podcast. And we have the featured video coming out of that show. It's about a 2 to 3 minute video coming out. So look for that on our website as well. So that being said, I want to thank you again for your time. I'm Ryan Girardi here with Auto Conversion, and appreciate you stopping by and tuning in. Let me know if I can be of assistance in any way. Other than that, we will see you on the next go round. Take care, everyone. Thank you.